President von der Leyen, thank you so much for joining us on Euronews here at the World Economic Forum in Davos. You mentioned in your speech to the plenary that Ukraine must win this war against Russia. My question is, what does winning this war mean for you? What does that look like?
Very important is this is being defined by Ukraine. It's the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian government who define what they decide is winning the war and winning peace again.
Now, we've just, one of the big questions is about the oil embargo that the European Union is discussing, and there's a lot of pressure on Hungary. We've heard from the German government they expect it could be perhaps put in place within a couple of days. What's your position on this? Do you think that this oil embargo is imminent, and what needs to be done to get it over the line?
We're working hard on it because we have a few member states that really have technical problems. They are landlocked, so they cannot get the oil via the sea. They need alternatives in pipelines, and they need work on updating their refineries. And here we're working hard to find technical solutions, solidarity solutions from other member states, but also the financial investment into, for example, renewables as alternative energies for those. So you hear from my word, it's a complex mechanism, and I hope that we are done with that in a matter of weeks.
Now, one of the things that you also focused on in your speech is climate change. Under the REPowerEU system, there is some scope in the EU's emissions trading system for new infrastructure for fossil fuels in light of the war in Ukraine. How worried are you that these kind of things are going to hinder or even prevent the European Union from meeting its target of being climate neutral by 2050? With all of this infrastructure going in, it might end up stranded.
So I'm not worried at all. On the contrary, it's an investment package of 300 billion. 95% is going into the renewable topic. And therefore, as paradox as it is, but this war and the behavior of Russia and our will to really get rid of the fossil fuel dependency on Russia accelerates the European Green Deal. It's good that we have it in place, Fit for 55, but we now have to step up and accelerate, and therefore this massive investment in renewable energy.
You've just announced as well an event with the Egyptians regarding food security. This is a massive issue. There's 20 million tons of grain in Ukraine that aren't able to be exported because Russia's blocking the Black Sea ports. Understandably, there's this international pressure, and that's what you're doing. But do you think there is scope to engage with the Russians anymore to try and get this unblocked? And what happens if Europe and the rest of the world doesn't manage to find a way through this?
No possibility should be unused to have a dialogue with Russia on unblocking the Black Sea, because it cannot be that Russia is it is already responsible with the war for this food crisis. But now that it is knowingly blocking the Black Sea and thus responsible for the starvation of millions of people. Therefore, there are discussions with the Russians, and that's good so, on deblocking the Black Sea. In the meantime, we're working hard with the Ukrainians to help them to bring out the wheat, for example, through trucks or trains and other transport modes. This is not easy, but we're working on all fronts.
President von der Leyen, thank you so much for joining us on Euronews.